Hey pups, what's up? It's Kumerai Fang here, and welcome to the first episode of the PupTunes. This is a series where my pups on Patreon can suggest and vote for songs that they'd like to appear in this video and like me to share my thoughts on. Voting for this episode opened almost a year ago, and considering how few of you there were at the time, I'm rather impressed. There's a pretty diverse batch of songs we got here today. Before I get started though, I just need to mention a few things. First, like on my 3,000 subscriber special, songs that landed in ties will be listed in reverse alphabetical order of the artist's name. For example, if 3 of them start with a J, T, and C, I will be starting with the T and go up from there. Also, the first 5 songs tied with over 15 other songs, so they were selected at random. But hey, let's not waste any more time and just dive right in.
Like I started dreaming, guess heaven's not that far away. And I'll be singing la 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 la. You're breaking me.
Interesting note to start on. Not because of anything in the song, but because Mode Reviews talked about it in one of his ranked videos. In fact, major spoiler, but this song was at the bottom of that ranking, and honestly, I don't blame him. When people mention formulaic, passionless music that caters to the trends without having any soul or flavor or anything to make it stand out, this song is now one of the first ones I think of, which I'd almost call impressive due to the song's content. Breaking Me is a song where the narrator acknowledges that he's in a toxic relationship, and in spite of being hurt, he chooses to stick around because he's too madly in love with this person. A theme that sounds like it was done better in a song, I know, but for the life of me, I can't put my finger on which one. Regardless, whether you look at the narrator as a masochist or a love-struck moron or someone with Stockholm Syndrome, he manages to sound so bland while spouting these unoriginal and formulaic lyrics. And that just about characterizes the song. The singer sounds unenthused, and the producer sounds like he went bitch basic. There's no passion or drive in this project. Suffice to say, I'm happy to leave this in my rear view mirror.
I can't wait to fall in love with you.
Oh, I remember this song. I think the Double Agent referenced it in one of his old rankings. Something about Meghan Trainor ripping it off? Oh well, doesn't matter. It's a great tune. The Timbaland production is both standard and not standard of the guy. It centers around a repeating synth and drum pattern, but unlike other songs such as My Love and Cry Me a River, there's not a whole lot else going on. Timbaland's production is taking a bit of a backseat to Justin. It honestly feels like he's leading the beat into the right tone for the song. A good thing, in my opinion, because a different frontman would make a simple and admittedly blocky beat sound awkward put next to Justin's declarations of love. Speaking of, talk about a nice sentiment. Summer love usually refers to a brief romantic encounter that's only meant to last for the season, but Justin insists that his relationship with the girl goes far beyond that. It's a nice little slice of 2000s pop that I didn't know was a single or a 2007 hit until I did some research for this video. Check this one out!
But I can't fuck up my nails, so I'ma pick it up with chopsticks. Mouth wide open, mouth wide open, mouth wide open like I was at the dentist.
Okay, I'm in some unknown territory here. Thank God I talked to my friend JV, who was able to give me the details on all things CupcakKe. An artist I had heard talked about in high regard, but never gave the time of day to for no good reason whatsoever. Well, to start off, CupcakKe is a female rapper that makes Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B look tame by comparison. CupcakKe's appeal comes from taking her sexuality back by making it so filthy that it's not meant to appeal to men, which makes her the center of attention. With that in mind, I can't say I'm shocked that Deep Throat was the song that put her on the map. The drum machine, lone synth, and what sounds like a shamisen make up a simple instrumental meant to put emphasis on the sexual dominance portrayed by CupcakKe. Not gonna lie, it took me a bit to hear the appeal for the song, and I don't think I'll be returning to it, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't like it.
One day in your life, say love will remind you. How could you leave it all behind?
And here we have an example of a song that I swear I heard as a kid, but for the life of me couldn't remember when. A Day in Your Life was the only single released stateside from Anastasia's second album, Freak of Nature. An album that went platinum in several European countries, but according to Wikipedia, couldn't get any certifications in the US. Which I can't say I'm surprised by, considering this song couldn't even touch the Hot 100 proper. That had to suck. Maybe because they were trying to make a disco tune, maybe because some people at Rolling Stone called it, and I quote, a moment of sheer overkill, maybe some people didn't gel with Anastasia's vocals, which I can understand, but I don't personally agree with. At least not entirely. This is an overdramatic breakup track, but Anastasia has a nice voice and the production is lively and enjoyable. It's a nice listen, even if I don't really care for the content.
I got a freaky secret, everybody sing, cause we don't give a damn about a thing. Cause I will be a freak until the day, until the dawn.
I'm just gonna go out and say this. Freak Like Me is one of the best hit songs in 1995, which is a list you can expect to see this September, and this song is particularly high up. This is an R&B track from a woman saying outright that she wants a freak in bed and that that's how she is at every time of the day. And it comes with an air of dominance not just from a few of the lyrics, but also from Adina Howard's vocals. She has a wonderful voice, and has a level of control and confidence that suits the atmosphere of the song. Don't want to spoil anything more for the best list, but I do listen to this one a lot. Oh, fuck yes! Thank you, Red Pup, for this. This is the kind of music that gets me excited about non-pop songs. Pup is a Canadian rock band from Toronto, Ontario. This song, Morbid Stuff, is the title track from their third studio album, and a song that really should have been a lead single. The instrumental is just phenomenal, playing off the emotions of anger, frustration, and dread, which, considering the subject matter, makes this such a wonderful song. Morbid Stuff centers around a moment where lead singer Stefan is sitting around and thinking about things like death, how people don't care about him, and his ex-girlfriend that he still cared for. It's a gut punch of emotions, one I adored before it really started. Stefan says that thinking about all this stuff makes him feel like he's about to throw up in the first verse. Anyone stuck in that mindset knows that feeling, and it's not a fun trip to go down, but Pup managed to give it a sense of catharsis that you usually don't find in songs that talk about this. Needless to say, I definitely see why Mark loves the song so much.
I could smoke you, I could roast you, and then you'd love it, you text me I love you, and then I'd fucking ghost you. The big boys coming with the big stuff, I feel so cool, like I'm running my shit.
You're gonna request a lot of memes, aren't you, Mike? The rest of you pups will understand as we continue through this video, but let's focus on the task at hand. Anyways, this song, Money Machine, is a song I learned about through Sean's Discord server. Mainly that, if you fall asleep in the voice chat, at least one person, probably Evie, will play this piece of audio torture on a loop for you. And that's why I don't stay there past 2 AM. 100 Gecs seem to be master trolls. The appeal of this song, and I suspect if there are other songs as well, is to sound bad and to piss people off because it sounds bad. And you know what? It works. Unlike a certain Skittle man, 100 Gecs definitely know how to get under people's skin. Does it make me like this incredibly pitchy, grating, and overall unlistenable song? No. Does it make me appreciate them? Maybe a little. Is it the worst thing Mike could have suggested to me? Absolutely not.
I'm a motherfucker gentleman.
Before anyone asks, I like this meme better than Money Machine. The worst is yet to come. Anyways, back to Gentleman by Psy, the follow-up to Gangnam Style that tries to be that song again, but fails. I'm assuming this song is a meme on TikTok because why else would anyone suggest this 8 years after its predecessor was a smash hit, and why not just choose the pop song that made the year end? In case you can't tell by my lack of enthusiasm, I don't like Gentleman. Making the beat to Gangnam Style sound annoying and atonal is bad enough, especially since this is supposed to be a fun song in the same lane. However, my research showed me that this wasn't a bad remake of Gentleman, but a bad surgery between it and 9 other songs. Psy admitted this himself and... oh dear God, I wish he hadn't. Apparently the point was to prove that he wasn't a one-hit wonder, and he went down the wrong path. It doesn't have near as many memorable moments both in the song and music video as Gangnam Style did. This song is called Gentleman, but during the whole video, Psy's an asshole. Hilarious. Wish I could remember something aside from your line before the drop. Actually, on second thought, no I don't. Better than Money Machine? Yes, but I remember more of that song than this one. Next! I love talking about songs I enjoyed as a kid and haven't changed my opinion on since it was released to the world. Makes life easy and enjoyable at the same time. So, for anyone who isn't a pop music nerd, this is Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson, the only pop star to have come from American Idol that lasted after one hit. This song was initially made for the Princess Diaries 2 soundtrack back in 2004, made the year-end, but wasn't officially released as a single until 2006. It's also noted as her last mainstream pop song before her next album, My December, was made. Anyways, Breakaway was a song where Avril Lavigne wrote about wanting to break away from her small-town life and reach for her dreams. And no, that was not me stuttering. This song was initially written for Avril's first album, Let Go, but was deemed unsuitable for it. Not sure why, but I won't complain. Kelly only intended to use the song to tide fans over until she made her next album, but it ended up being a monster smash. The gentle guitar strums and keys made the song pleasant, and it rose into the chorus with an electric guitar, a bass, and a more prominent percussion. It's a beautiful song, and if you haven't heard it yet, you're missing out. I suppose I shouldn't be shocked you pups want me to discuss songs my friends enjoy. Last time was Feelings, which Sean likes, and now we have Step by K-pop girl group Kara, which Mr. 96 has called his favorite K-pop song. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. The girls are performing wonderfully, the horns and drums stand out and pump the song up, which you can tell was the point. It's a fantastic listen to turn on and dance to. It never fails to put a smile on my face whenever it plays. I don't really have a lot to add to that, except a middle finger to Guhara's mother, who abandoned her children when they were young, and then tried to claim half of her daughter's assets as inheritance after she died. She didn't get everything she wanted, but she still got some of it, and seriously, screw her for that. Thumbs up to her brother for pushing a law that makes it impossible for parents to do that in the future, and much love and respect for naming it after his sister. Rest in peace, you wonderful icon, you.
If you give me more money, I give you the something lucky. Hello, how you doing? I can give you good massage. I can be your everything.
Why, of all the songs out there, why would you want me to talk about this one? I'm being facetious, of course. I know exactly why Mike chose this song, how much of a meme it is on Sean's server, and how much Mike just wants me to be reviled by the entire listening experience. And to that I say, well done, Ramp Up. Of all the songs that made this video, I can't think of a single song I want to talk about less than what is widely considered, if not unanimously considered, to be Hobson's worst song. There's a certain level of disgust and disappointment that came when I first listened to this. Having been introduced to Hobson through one of the Rap Critics' best lists, I thought he was, at the very least, a decent rapper who I made note to look into further, but proceeded to forget to. Fast forward to this video, noticing a Hobson song made it into the rundown, and dear God, I wish it didn't. This song is a disgusting, tasteless, and racist mess. Hobson going to get a massage only to pay a woman to fuck him and jerk him off is just revolting. I don't think... Well, actually no, the racism in this song would be a problem no matter what. But one could argue that the song is tolerable if the beat wasn't this blocky, stiff pile of percussion with not much else to go with it. This is undeniably the worst first impression I didn't ask for. Ugh. Not even bleach will get rid of the bad taste that's left in my mouth.
Mesmerized while I die. Why would you ever kiss me? I'm not even half as.
So, this exists? Not gonna front, I didn't give it much thought when it was on the Hot 100, and I could honestly care less for it now. But you're not here to see me shrug this off and move on, you're here to listen to my thoughts on it. The song was written around a specific day while Conan Gray was in high school. His crush was actually dating a friend named Heather. This is confirmed to be her real name, and he said he was jealous of her and hated her, but also couldn't be because she's that great of a person. It's a bit of teenage melodrama, and the lyricism is on the money. Conan Gray is a good singer, so you'd think I'd like this more. Look, I'm turning 26 in September. This song isn't made for me, so of course I'm not going to connect with it as much. Especially because the music is just... okay. I respect Conan Gray for going down the route he did, and I think he handled the subject matter and the emotions conveyed in the lyrics well. I just wish I thought the song was something more than alright.
I know I fucked up. couldn't be with ya. Guess I'm a quitter.
And speaking of pop hits from last year that I didn't pay much attention to, we got Super Lonely, and honestly, I kinda hate this. Benee on her own is annoying. Her autotune sounds like it wasn't properly mixed and makes her sound out of place over this admittedly okay beat. And even with that, I just hate her tone on this song. It sounds like a mixture of sarcasm and condescending superiority. And on a song where the first line is, "I know I fucked up," just makes her more annoying. Especially since the vibe of this song is just laid back and kinda bouncy, which just adds to the tonal dissonance of everything. This is before we get to Gus Dapperton, who is supposed to play the guy in the relationship, and dear God, he makes it worse. He's barely on the song, but he puts himself in a worse position than Benee in so few words, and his autotune is even worse than hers. It's just a miserable experience. If you want a better dissection of this trash heap, watch my friend Diane's worst list for 2020. I did not expect to hate this near to the extent she does, but hey, at least I know I'm not alone on this one. Ugh.
Hey, how do you get a red wine stain out of your favorite dress? How does he sleep at night? Mama, the nerve of this guy.
I unfortunately have to refer you pups to my best list for 2020. I've got nothing new to add to this, and I didn't feel like picking new songs to replace it. So here's a clip of whatever my brother Johnny decided to film himself.
Look at this cute little dog. Ooh. Ooh. And now back to Kumerai with the weather, or whatever she's doing.
And with that, let's move on to one of the best and one of the most fucked up songs ever made. If anyone ever questioned how the name Stan got associated with fans that go to extreme lengths to whoever they praise, well, here you go. Back in Eminem's heyday, he was often criticized for enticing fans to do the crazy things that he talks about in his lyrics. Marshall had made fun of this on other songs, but in this song he asked himself, what if a fan actually did that? So he wrote a song about a mentally unstable and obsessive fan who did all of that. The two verses where Stan writes to Slim show stages of obsession, starting with praising Slim, then getting agitated when he didn't receive a reply. His final verse is a tape recording which shows that he's in the aggression phase and he ends up killing himself and his pregnant girlfriend. Which, I gotta say, going from a car skidding into the river to the Dido sample is one of the most bone-chilling moments in music. When Eminem finally does reply, he reveals he'd been busy. He expresses concern about Stan's mental health, how uncomfortable he was with Stan's obsession, and worries that Stan may hurt himself and his family if he doesn't get some professional help. Only to bring up the bridge crash where Stan killed himself and his girlfriend, and at the end realizing that it was the fan he was writing back. It's a haunting piece of music and is considered one of Eminem's best songs. I've even met people who called it their favorite song, and I can see why. The sample of Thank You, the constant sounds of rain, thunder, and lightning, not to mention the descriptive lyricism, goes beyond anything that had been thought of before. As an added bonus, it helped boost the popularity of the song it sampled. Thank You didn't have a lot of traction before Marshall sampled it. Oh, and before anyone asks, that's a good song too. Check it out. As for Stan, I would hope most of you have heard it by now. If you haven't seen my last best list, but this is the best hit song of 2020, and I will take an army stance by saying I will not hear any ifs, ands, or buts about it. However, rather than leave y'all bored, I would like to tell you pups what I think about their latest single and most recent #1 hit, Butter. It's fucking awesome! In fact, I think I like this more than Dynamite. Sure, it's a little blocky in the verses, but oh dear God, is that chorus heaven. Needless to say, the chance of this topping my best list is rather high.
This love out here in the hall. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending.
Oh, Right. I forgot this was here. I actually listened to Folklore when it came out, and I remember enjoying several songs, and this was one of my favorites. Bon Iver and Taylor Swift have wonderful chemistry over this breakup track. Taylor walks out on Bon Iver, and you get both perspectives in this ballad. The piano and strings aren't over the top, and the song steadily builds over the course of the entire song, leading to a gentle-sounding but still powerful climax. It's not groundbreaking, but it's still a wonderful listen, especially with how Taylor and Bon harmonize with each other. Not to mention Bon Iver's low, gravelly voice never fails to draw me into this song.
I'm levitating, the Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night.
Before anyone says anything, no, the remix is not better than the original version. DaBaby is so obviously tacked onto this song, and his presence is just as impactful as his appearance in the music video. He's there for a moment, and then he's completely gone. Apparently people like him because he fills up the introduction's dead space and they like his guest verse. I prefer to do a second verse, and even if I didn't, I still think DaBaby could have been integrated into the song better. Sorry, I'm still salty that the remix is going to be the one that makes the year-end Hot 100. It's not the worst remix, but the original Levitating didn't need anything to make it better. Dua's commanding presence blends perfectly in this song, where she's flirting with a guy who wants to bang her as much as she wants to bang him. Any AJR jokes about that will be deleted. The musical components are probably the best off of Future Nostalgia, which deserved an album bomb more than 2/3 of the artists who got one over the last year. Oh well, she'll get there one day. Oh hey, 2000s rock! Always good to see one of those songs make the video, especially one with the legacy that this one has. I assume you pups think I have a childhood recollection of this song and the well-beloved and rightfully cherished album it came off of, The Black Parade. Well, actually I don't. I was introduced to a lot of 2000s rock through my older sisters, but for some reason, My Chem's best album ever was not a thing they'd exposed me to. It may have been because of the album's concept of dealing with cancer and dying, but I was 11 when this song was popular, and just 3 years prior, Live Like You Were Dying was a tune they both played. I don't get it. I almost don't want to talk about this song separate from the album. It feels like spoiling it, to be honest, but that's not what y'all came here for, so here it goes. Welcome to the Black Parade is the 5th track off of the Black Parade, which was released back in 2006. The song was released as the lead singer in September, peaked at number 9 on the Hot 100, and made the year-end Hot 100 in 2007 at number 59. The song and album follow a character referred to only as the Patient, and throughout this song, personifies his death through his fondest memory, a day where his father brought him to see a parade. The Black Parade comes to claim his life. The song is anthemic. The Patient is unapologetic about the life he's lived and who he is. And the chorus is also one of the best hooks ever created. There's a feeling that, despite the patient's circumstances, he'll push through everything, even into the afterlife. It deserved more success than it got, and I'm happy to say that the album is one of the best I've ever heard. And the fact I wasn't introduced to this when it came out is a sin. I love you pups right now. I love you so fucking much right now.
I never said that just won't be easy.
For those who haven't followed me for very long, this is my favorite song of all time. And since it's my video, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to let my vicious nerd out. Riskbreaker was released back in 2014 with the original cast of Swedish art metal band Batar, an act I've given praise to many times on this channel, and one that unfortunately is now disbanded. I encountered them by accident when guitarist Patrick Leonhardt randomly followed me on Twitter one day. At the time, I was new to the site, and most of my followers came from unsigned musicians who wanted me to check out their stuff. I had this instinct about Patrick when I saw his profile and decided to check out his group. The very first thing I checked out was the teaser video for Riskbreaker, and I knew, then and there, that it and the group were a thing to be cherished. The song is already fantastic on a compositional level. Patrick Leonhardt and Simon Andante go back and forth between playing rhythm and lead guitar. The bass goes back and forth between playing alongside the rhythm of those guitars and playing alongside the rhythm of the drums. And the vocals on both the original and the rebirth versions are phenomenal. Speaking and screaming on the verses to give the song a tough grit, and singing on the chorus to make it comforting and empowering. Which, considering the content, makes a lot of sense. Beyond being a great piece of music that sends me to Cloud 9 every time I hear it, The content of the song is one that I adore more than any song made in a similar vein before or since. The song takes the risk-taker attitude and gives it a twist. A risk-taker is like the fool card in a tarot deck, someone willing to take a leap of faith off the side of a cliff even though their head is looking up at the sky and they have no idea what's waiting for them down below. These are the people who are willing to follow their dreams regardless of how many dogs or people tell them to turn back and that it's a bad idea. A risk breaker, like the narrator in this song, addresses a specific subset of risk takers. Those who put in a bit of work, were expecting things to go better than they actually did, then sulk about it because their end goal wasn't handed to them on a silver platter. There's a reason why the first lyric is, "Give me a fucking break." The narrator is giving the person or people he's addressing a reality check in the verses, being brutally honest about how the world works. However, in the chorus, the narrator gives them a bit of support. This won't be easy, but stick together and listen to reason. You'll find a way. And that mixture of honesty and support is perfectly balanced. Sometimes to reach your dreams, you have to ground yourself in reality and press on in spite of it. Which Batar did until the very end. Towards the end of 2015, Batar lost their lead singer and bassist. At the start of 2016, they got Indigo Skyborn to join the group and recorded rebirth versions of The Distance and Riskbreaker, the latter being the song you hear now at the end of all of my videos. The group would then stick together until 2019. They didn't go into why they disbanded, but I can only assume it was because the members were heading in different directions in life. The band released their last song, The Final Train, on September 11th, 2019, which felt like a bittersweet birthday present on my end. It was not a good time for me. Thankfully, Patrick and Simon, the founding members of the group, remained good friends and decided to start a new project together called Spug, and even roped in a Say Clowniac in to do the vocals. And let me tell you, not only was their first single together beyond awesome, but it has one of the most memeable moments that you could ever take out of context.
So you're a big boy now. So you're a big boy now. So you're a big boy now. Big boy! Big boy, big boy, big boy, big boy.
Fun fact, that's the part they used to tease the song. Nonetheless, Riskbreaker remains to this day as my favorite song ever made, and I'm honored to not only have found this band when they first made it, but continue supporting them by telling anyone who will listen about their music. And I'm beyond thrilled that not only was the song recommended for this video, but it actually managed to garner enough points to where it could close the video out. It's the best ending I could have asked for. And that's it for the video. Thank you pups so much for watching. But before we go, I'd like to give a quick shout out to my pups on Patreon, where for $2 per main series video, you'll be able to suggest songs for the next episode of the PupTunes. Voting for the next episode will be open July 1st and will close at the end of the month. For $5 per main series video, you'll get your name listed here, and for $10 or more, you'll get a personal shout-out alongside Louis Rivera, Matt Jenkins, Nick Cage, Ryan Eister, and Temple. Thank you pups for all the wonderful support. Also, I've decided to try my hand at a weekly segment. Coffee, Crystals, and Tunes releases every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. In this series, I drink a cup of coffee, make crystal necklaces, and tell you pups about some of the songs I'm listening to and enjoying. I'll see you pups on Sunday for Coffee, Crystals, and Tunes, but until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a howlin' good time.
I never said that this would be easy. Stick together and listen to reason. I never said that this would be easy.
Wow, look at this dog. Oh. Back to you in the studio. Hey! Tina! Tina!